Welcome to the visionarywoman.com online media.
Around her voice, in fact, who hated raising her hand, but then being able to find my voice in the most unexpected way as a result of winning a beauty pageant, and then becoming really passionate about showing other women how to step into their power, whether that's on stage, in the boardroom, or in difficult conversations with their loved ones. That's been my work for my professional career. I think in terms of what it means to be an effective woman or a good girl, usually posits us as either being overly pleasing and nice and tender and soft, or when we see images of women who are stepping into roles of power, what we often hear associated with that is that they're bees, for lack of a better word, that they are castrating, that they are emasculating. And so it becomes very difficult to position ourselves within those two incredibly unsatisfying poles. The second is, unlike men who do a better job of being able to say, that didn't work, or I had a negative experience, let me just wash it off, for women, we tend to internalize a hiccup on our path to success as being indicative of our capacity to succeed. So if somebody tells us we're too loud, or somebody tells us that we didn't have our idea perfectly formulated, or we were on stage and an audience didn't instantly fall in love with us, we will replay that over and over and over again in our heads until that becomes the reality we wind up recreating. We are carrying around about who we are and what we're capable of comes from. If it's a story where we're the protagonist, then great, keep telling that story. But for anybody who recognizes, that's a story I have because of something my parents said, or a teacher said, or a former lover said, and it's not serving me, that being the key. It's not serving me, then saying, I'm going to choose to rewrite that story so that it plays out differently as I move forward. The second, as women, we do best when we get some evidence. Evidence might mean somebody who gives us feedback that's positive. Evidence might mean we really put our whole selves into our business, and as a result, we have clients who are eager to work with us. So if you recognize, you don't have a lot of evidence of your success, put yourself in positions where you can experience some little wins. It doesn't have to be colossal, but that will help you in those moments where you start to second guess, recognize, wait, there is some feedback from the world that what I'm doing is, or I find myself in that spiral, and I don't go back here too much anymore, but of course I'm human. So there are moments where I think I'm not smart enough to pull something off. I'm not funny enough. I'm not pretty enough. Whatever it is, I get out of myself and I try to give something to others, whether it's writing a thank you letter to somebody who recently did something awesome for me, or it might even just be a colleague who's doing something big in the world and I want to tell her that I'm really impressed with what she's doing. And when we shift the focus from are we enough towards honoring the light in others, particularly other women, that gives us permission to be able to step into our greatness. We have this, less so these days, but I suspect a lot of us are, that when we see another woman who's doing something awesome, our first thought is that's awesome, and then our second thought usually is, oh crap, I'm not enough, or now there's not room for me, rather than what dudes typically do, which is say, oh, well, if he can do it, then so can I. Yeah. And if we can pivot in terms of seeing those examples as inspiration and reminders of what we're capable of, then that really starts to shift the foundation of how we're showing up to the world. Add is, rather than always looking at where we want to go in the future, because one of the best pieces of advice I ever got from a coach was, if you find yourself always looking to the future, no doubt you are experiencing anxiety. Or the flip of that is, if you are experiencing anxiety, it probably means you're always looking to the future. And on the flip side, if you always find that you're sad, you're probably replaying the past. On the flip side, to look at that, if you find that you're often sad or depressed, that probably means you're living in the past. So where's missing, if we're talking about future, we're talking about past, is the here and now. That if you can figure out how, irrespective of the set of circumstances that have been granted to you, that where you are right now is perfect. And I don't mean that the situation is perfect. This isn't about trying to be a Pollyanna type figure, but that the experiences, the feelings, the thoughts, the relationships, that whatever you have right now is perfect because it has been designed for your learning and for your growth, that you may not see until you're a year, 5 years, 10 years down the line and you're able to look back. But that vantage point of it's perfect for your evolution, for me and for my clients, has done wonders.
thevisionarywoman.com Watch our host of insightful video exchange interviews. Listen to the Visionary Woman Hotspot Talk Radio to empower your evenings and read fascinating articles of inspiration and perseverance, all with you in mind. Visit us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.